Hours for Senator Ben Pangelinan and Speaker Judy Wanpat to introduce and get support for the passage of Bill 516. The legislation was to change language in local law as a result of the U.S. Department of Education's recent extension for Guam DOE to obligate ERA money. But the bill contained much more than that, a $3 million appropriation that would have gone to mental health for its permanent injunction. Instead was reappropriated to UOG and GCC, something federal management team Dr. James Kiffer would have appreciated a heads up about.
That was out of the blue, and I wish they had had a public hearing. I would have gone and clarified how those funds were to be, or actually being counted on for the sustainability.
But there's more than just the provision for mental health. Evidently, lawmakers included language to correct a major problem with the fiscal year 2013 budget.
There was a technical error when we were editing the bill and the title of the section with referencing to where those employees may be employed.
The so-called technical error in this new fiscal year budget restricts the employment of a majority of unclassified employees in the judicial and legislative branches of government. Effective today, the law prohibits the expenditure of funds to employ non-exempt unclassified employees of the judicial branch, including judges and justices, law clerks, the chief marshal, the chief probation officer, the compiler of laws, chamber clerks, bailiffs, as well as legislative staffers. Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito pointed out the problem and warned that if it wasn't rectified, it could cause a suspension of court operations. That's where Bill 516 and its lightning quick passage comes in to correct the budget blunder.
We put it in there to fix it before the beginning of the fiscal year. So we're hoping that the governor will, kind of respond to the concerns that the judiciary expressed and act quickly on the bill.
It's a technical error that up until today flew under the radar.
And so it just means that really, in order for those individuals to continue being paid, then we have to put that word back in that reaffirms that those unclassified positions can exist in the legislature and the judiciary.
They still have a job?
Yes.
They're not authorized to be paid? How does that work?
I think that's something that, the judiciary is looking at and maybe even making suggestions for us because they have the same problem we have, so we're kind of getting the benefit of their review of it.
And this affects all legislative staffers as well as judges, justices, and unclassified staffers
at the judiciary. Yes.
Governor's Chief Policy Advisor Arthur Clark confirms the governor vetoed the bill this afternoon, expressing concerns with the legislation, including the provision that freezes employment of unclassified employees.
As it stands today, under the old law, all unclassified employees, except for those who were exempted under the prior law at the beginning of this new fiscal year, aren't eligible for continued employment, and no new employees are eligible to be hired. So this is obviously an issue that the legislature needs to deal with also. It certainly seems unfair in the overall scheme of things, but the main reason for the veto is the last section of the bill, which actually de-appropriates $3 million for the funding of the mental health case.
And with the veto, if the budget blunder isn't fixed soon, these unclassified workers could end up without a paycheck come Friday, October 12th. As for the federal management team, he's pleased with the veto, but concerned if lawmakers move for an override. Either way, he's clearly disappointed with how the bill was handled without the public being given the opportunity to provide comments.
Well, I guess this government can act rapidly, can't they?
Court Policy Planning and Communications Director Josh Tenorio says the judiciary is confident that operations should not be interrupted. Tenorio adding that the court staff attorney has pointed out the separation of powers doctrine that does not allow one branch of government from preventing another branch from conducting its constitutional duties. The judiciary is waiting to see what action the legislature will take now that the governor has vetoed. Meantime, Senator Pangelinan is adamant that the bill did not take away any money from mental health, saying the $3 million would only have been transferred if the court had ordered it be deposited, and the funds, he says, were only available for fiscal year 2012. The governor, however, in his veto message says that money should have remained as the judge stayed the court-ordered payments but could impose them again at any time.